So if you're in any way involved in the drama community at all, you have definitely seen what's been going down with Pyrocynical. And now a lot of people have added their own takes to this. I kind of want to take this video in a separate route. I know that Pyro is going to respond to this eventually, at least I assume he will. It's entirely possible he never does, but I feel like at this point he kind of has to. These allegations are very strong. He's kind of been exposed for lying, and definitely for a while now it's been kind of acknowledged that he's a little bit of a freak with some really weird fetishes. For those of you who don't know, a quick summary video, I might even make a TLDW of this, but a quick summary, basically, Pyro got exposed for having weird fetish discussions with a 15-year-old. The 15-year-old initially accused him of grooming, but after a little bit of discussion, maybe it wasn't necessarily grooming, but it was still sexually charged conversations with a minor that's very inappropriate, and Pyro got kind of let off the hook for it. He not only got let off the hook, but then he lied later in a Reddit post about the specifics, and Turkey Tom kind of exposed him in a video about it. Now onto my topic. In this video, I'm going to address how Pyro will respond to these allegations. Turkey Tom dropped a document titled Proving Pyrocynical's Guilt, and in the document, one header he has in it states, Ivory lied about his age, which was a claim that Pyro made in his Reddit post. Pyro said he never once disclosed the fact that he was 15 at the time these exchanges commenced. And Turkey Tom replies with a couple DMs to prove that this is false. He also gives a list of things that Pyro would have to do in order to not know his age, basically saying it's completely unreasonable that Pyro did not know the age of Ivory, and to claim that he never disclosed it is insane. So I'm going to be going over each one of these points. This is the list here on screen. There's 5 things that Turkey Tom lists that basically prove it was impossible for Pyro not to know the age. And let me just say one thing before I go into this. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here, okay? I myself don't necessarily believe this. I'm not a Pyro stan. I'm not defending Pyro, but I know that he's going to have to respond to these allegations. And when he does, this is kind of how I think they're going to go, if they even happen at all. If Pyro just doesn't come out and blatantly just apologize and say, you know what, my bad, I fucked up, he's definitely going to have to try to twist this in some way. And this is the way I think he's going to twist it. Some of these points I think can actually be justified, but also some of these maybe he'll have to twist the story just a little bit in order to get his way. So first point, Pyrocynical never saw the initial DM from Ivory saying he was a minor. To be fair on this one, it could easily be brushed off that it was a fat message with a bunch of different words in there, and Pyro skimmed over it. I know myself personally, if I get a lot of Discord messages, such as this one, I won't really read every single one individually. I'll just kind of skim over it real quick and give like a basic response. This easily could have been what happened here. He might not have read that one single line that says, and also me being a minor. He could have just easily just skimmed over it and been like, oh yeah, blah, 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 and not really seen that. So Pyro could kind of easily counter this first point. If that's really as deep as it is, it's just that one DM. That could pretty easily be countered. Now, the second point, Pyrocynical never saw the DM where Ivory sent him his Twitter profile clearly stating his age. This, once again, could be played off that maybe he just missed it or maybe he just scrolled past it. I don't know how busy Pyro was at the time. I don't know how big he was at the time. But Ivory could have easily just been someone he was playing with on the side. Could have just completely, not even really paid attention to him. Could have just seen him as a little Discord scrub besides the instance of this. Now, I know later down there was discussions that maybe he wanted to have a relationship with him, which would definitely kind of disprove this point because obviously if he was a mere Discord scrub, he wouldn't want to have this relationship with him. But knowing how Pyro has kind of twisted the words in the past and like slightly lied, this could easily be the same instance here where he just kind of says, I wasn't really trying to be friends with this guy. I just kind of was talking to him about my fetishes. And the third point, Pyrocynical, who at the time was expressing interest in Ivory and being in a relationship with him at the time, which was corroborated by Pyrocynical's at the time soon-to-be girlfriend, still never knew Ivory's age, an age which she clearly acknowledged and an age which she thought would not dissuade him from being in a relationship with Ivory. So the DMs in question are here, shown on screen. Basically, Ivory's asking, you think it's cool if we dated? And the soon-to-be girlfriend's basically saying, no, I don't think it's a problem. This point is pretty devastating to him, but he can easily just claim that, the girlfriend's knowledge is not his knowledge. You can't claim that because the girlfriend knew something, that means he knew it. And also the girlfriend doesn't speak for him, she speaks for herself. And that Pyro would never have dated somebody knowing their age, and that this is simply, once again, just the girlfriend's understanding, so it meant nothing. 4. Pyrocynical never saw any of the tweets of Ivory explicitly saying that he was 15 years old on an account that Pyrocynical follows and interacted with regularly. Once again, ignorance would be the claim here, if any at all. He may not even address the fact that this profile was constantly posting, their age, saying I'm 15, but if he does, he could easily just claim he was being ignorant and didn't even notice. I think a lot of these tweets are in replies to things anyway. Some are original tweets, but a lot of are replies. And, I don't see the replies of every person I follow. Sometimes it shows up on the TL. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know how many people Pyro was following at the time. His heel easily could have been clogged. He may have never seen any of these tweets. It is a sus argument, especially given the fact that he'd have to pull that off for number 1 and number 2. But if that argument works for 1 and 2, there's no reason he couldn't just say it also works for number 4. You know, they were just a couple of replies and never really saw them. I was a busy man. 5, somehow Ivory never ever mentioned his age, and no one else mentioned his age in the presence of Pyrocynical outside of all of these clear instances even once. Now this is definitely a really devastating argument, but Pyrocynical will definitely reply to this if he does by mentioning the fact that a lot of Discords and a lot of Discord groups don't necessarily talk about their age. I myself have been parts of Discord groups, and I don't necessarily see just people saying their age all the time. I'm going to state ignorance here for one part and say that I do not know how close Pyro and Ivory were outside of their DMs. I don't know if they were involved in a lot of groups together. I don't know if they were always talking outside of DMs all the time. I don't even know if it was public knowledge that Ivory and Pyro were talking a lot. If it wasn't public knowledge that they were talking a lot, it could easily be played off that no one really mentioned Ivory's age directly to Pyrocynical. What can't easily be played off is that no one ever mentioned Ivory's age at all. For example, there's a group chat that Pyro is a part of. Maybe someone else could have mentioned Ivory's age in the group chat, but not directly to Pyro, which would definitely be a little bit of a sus claim, which would definitely be a completely reasonable claim. But would Pyro be able to play it off that he never saw those DMs as well? So pretty much, I think the first point is kind of mute, especially if it was a big fat Discord message. I think it could easily be seen that he just didn't see that one line in it. That's pretty fair. To say that he never saw the age in the bio is a little sus, but maybe I'd let it slide. For number 3, disputing it by saying just it's his girlfriend's knowledge, not his own, that can easily be disputed by that. He can easily just say, my not even girlfriend at the time cannot really speak for me and what I would have wanted, so that doesn't have any correlation to me at all. That can be disputed in that way. And number 4, once again, he may not have seen those specific tweets and just saw either bigger ones. He could have had a busy TL. Who knows? And finally, number 5, maybe it was brought up a couple times in the DMs. But to be fair, I don't think the group chat was just constantly saying, oh, Ivory's 15, by the way. Oh, Ivory's 15. Ivory's 16. Ivory's 15. That's probably pretty reasonable to assume maybe this didn't really happen. Maybe the group chats were just relating to video topics and other things like that. And no one really discussed the ages of the participants in the group chat all the time while they were together. So once again, Pyro may not have ever seen a message that specifically said his age. And also, since no one even really knew how deep Ivory and Pyro's relationship was, no one ever would need to clarify to Pyro, hey, by the way, the person you're talking to is a minor. Thus, he could slide off with that. So let me know what you guys think of this summary. Do you think Pyro could get away with this? Would his fan base buy it if he just claimed ignorance? Another part of this is the girlfriend's DMs immediately after Ivory dropped the allegation. But I feel like Pyro could just make the same point he made for number 3 on Turkey Tom's list and say his girlfriend doesn't really speak for him and her knowledge isn't always his own. I don't know, it's definitely a sus topic. And once again, I'm simply stating how I think Pyro will play this off, not necessarily condoning such a response or defending him. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you like the video, drop a like. And if you're new around here, don't be afraid to subscribe. It's free. You can always change your mind. Thanks everybody for watching. Peace out.